Shall we dive in?
We should dive in.
Okay, let's dive in. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Million Dollar Attorney community and this special broadcast. I am so glad you're here. And let me tell you a little bit about my guest today. Jess Todtfeld and I just realized we've been working together 6 years. So it's been a long time. He's always great, always brings the big bucks and the insider information to really propel us forward from where we are to where we want to be faster than, media exposure is, okay, I'll let you say it. We'll dive in. Okay, so let me read the introduction. Today's broadcast, Media for Attorneys, how to use media attention to drive business and attention, is going to be all about content and showing you how to get and leverage media attention. Leading all of us today is Jess Todtfeld. He has been a TV producer, reporter, and host. He wrote the international best-selling Media Secrets, a media training crash course, which I own. He holds a Guinness record for being interviewed the most times in 24 hours. It was 112 interviews, that's crazy. Crazy awesome. He is very qualified to show you how attorneys can get the press you deserve. He was my media coach years ago, and today I've gotten him to share all of that with you. Thank you for joining and sharing today. Jess, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Wendy. I'm really excited to support this group, this amazing group that you've put together, and we have a whole bunch of folks who have joined in, and I got some good stuff to show you, and I want to start with this. I think you could make me full screen. I think if you double click on my face, you can make me full screen. That's basically what is double click. And before I jump into showing you a bunch of things and talking about myself, I have to look media ready. And, when I started today and I turned this on, I realized, I look a little tired. 5 o'clock shadow already earlier in the day. That's no good. But anytime we're on camera, we have to really, or any type of media, well, TV, print, radio, we have to check all the boxes. For on camera, which includes Skype, Zoom, webinars, and there are so many more opportunities that are out there that you can be talking to reporters and stations via Skype. So you have to bring your full game. Now, women usually are a little bit more in tune with makeup. Not all women, but more women certainly than men. But gentlemen who are tuning in, you just need some foundation that matches your skin tone. That is the idea here. And you can go with somebody who knows more about makeup than you to the local drugstore. I'm going to put a little here. And yes, they make special makeup that goes under the eyes or this and that. If you just take basic foundation that matches your skin tone, this is Maybelline Dream Mousse. I'm beige. I'm a beige person. So the main thing is not for me to look washed out and tired. And you know what? If I don't shave, that's even one layer more of it's like, yikes, did this guy just wake up? So there you go. Just a little bit. I hope it's even. There, I did it once, and my wife was tuned in somewhere else, and she texted me and said, "You didn't do your eyes, Mr. Raccoon." And I was like, oh, no. It's just two big circles. So I did that to show you, look, how long did that take me? A minute and a half? Probably a minute if I wasn't talking. And there's so many little things that you can do to be exposed to more people, to get your message out to more people, and to do it right so they're seeing the best version of you or listening to the best version of you. I hear a lot of times people say, yeah, I did some radio interviews and I did it from bed. I tried that one time. Wendy's laughing. I tried that one time, which because I've heard people say that, and I have that Guinness record, which is behind me, for most interviews in 24 hours that was on radio. I've done quite a bit of TV and print. But the one time I did it, the people said, you sound like you're in bed. I was gravelly, my voice, bad idea, stand up. move around. You want to sound like you're energetic. You still want to be you. So an important piece for me to bring up today is anything I share with you about techniques and going out there doing interviews, you should still be you, but the best version of you. And if you're not sure what the best version of you is, go ask the people in your life who know and like and love you and say, what does that look like? And they know, when you've been on fire, things are going really well, and you don't have to match your energy as me or Oprah, Tony Robbins, or whoever it is that you may admire. You just have to be the best version of you. So today is actually about, as I go and share my screen here and try to make sure to do it right. Here we go. Make sure let me know, Wendy, if for some reason it's not in full screen mode. There we go. One time I did this and everyone was stuck in one slide and I was going through and nobody told me. All right, so today is PR Secret Weapons, Media for Attorneys, how to use media attention to drive business. That's what we want to do. If we lose sight of the fact of why we're doing it, we won't have that end outcome. I mean, there's lots of reasons to do it. Ultimately, it feels good. Maybe not necessarily where you're thinking, maybe right in the moment I might be a little nervous. When it's all done, it's on your website, you're going to feel good. If you could have ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS on your website, imagine what that would do for you as far as getting people over a hurdle and just thinking, okay, this person's the real deal. I mean, there are AVO ratings. That's one thing to pay attention to. But other social proof is, are you out there? What else? Let's see you. So this is an opportunity to be able to do that. So that's one of my reasons for doing it, is social proof. I want to have those logos next to my face. So I've appeared on those networks, and you can appear on those networks as well. Actually, The Daily Show, I'm going to show you techniques exactly today. I'm not going to be wishy-washy about it. I'm going to show you exactly how to reach out, and I'm going to tell you all the different ways to connect. But The Daily Show, they reached out to me. It was very cool, and I had some fun with that one. So I want you to know I run a group called Media Ambassadors, and these are powerful folks who are either health and medical experts, legal experts, and business experts, and I help them to get press. So today I'm going to show you what we do for them and how we help them to get more press. And I want to just highlight what some of our recent ambassadors did. We had one on ABC in Sacramento, and we had some of our folks on a syndicated show. I think it's on 6 or 10 cities, Chicago Tribune, Reader's Digest. We were really excited for Dr. Eldred Taylor, who just got into Reader's Digest. He said, that would be awesome. U.S. News and World Report. You can do this too. It's just a matter of following the steps. So you can either do it yourself or you can have somebody else do it. Those are your two choices. But you should pay attention to this because it should be on your website. It should be in your marketing materials. It should be everywhere, social media. You should be putting it everywhere so people can see that you're the real deal. It would be very cool to be in Fast Company. Thankfully, Dr. Colleen Sierra was able to, just a couple of months ago, get in there. And I think they actually interviewed her on audio. So she's also got the podcast version of that, which is very cool. So I'm going to get into later letting you know what we've done for some of these folks. But this is an example of what one of them has on their website. How cool would that look if you could put on your website? ABC, NBC, Fox, down at the bottom we have CBS. Okay, so we mentioned Guinness World Records right behind me. How did I do that? There it is. You can see it close up. How was I able to get that besides drinking lots of coffee and staying up? I'm going to walk you through the steps as well as how I used one email. I'm going to show you how to write this email. One email to get into 40 plus newspapers, almost 50 newspapers. And that one was basically focused on having, I'm going to just tell you now because I can't wait to just tell you. I feel bad if I say it later, I'll tell you this. I'm going to just tell you for that one. Yes, we sent one email. There was one follow-up email to the same people, but I included bullet pointed quotes of what I would say in an interview. So for that one, it was, let's see, that I'm going to do the little case study later. But Tiger Woods is one of the ones I was thinking about. So I basically said, this is what I will say. But let's talk about you right now. It's all about you. What is it that you want? This is a crucial piece at this stage of the game. What is it that you want as a result of interviews? How can you use this? What do you want as a result? So I mentioned earlier, we often lose the vision of where we were going. And the fact of, hey, I want to grow my business or I want more clients. That should be one of the goals. And if it's not for you, maybe it's, I just want that social proof of my website. I want to feel good. I want to share with more people. I want to help the world. Any of these are okay, but we need to be crystal clear about it before we pitch them so we have a sense of how the interview will play out. Super important. I would write down, what do I want? And then just put next to it more business or fun or you name it. All right. Wendy mentioned that I have a book called Media Secrets, and I'm all about giving you secrets. Here comes your first big secret. The media needs your help. They need your help and they need it badly. And the reason is they have an unending need for content. They have an unending need for content. By the way, you can type questions in the chat box to me at any time, and I'm happy to give you whatever it is that you're thinking, oh, I wish Jess would talk about this. So they have an unbelievable, unending need for content. And we have more content providers than we've ever had out there. I just read an article this morning that said newspapers are having a tough time, and many have shut, but many have transitioned to digital. That's where I get, just looking for my phone here, that's where I get my information in the morning. I actually subscribe to my local New York newspaper, and so because they've been smart now, they kind of get you hooked, and then they get you paying something so that you can see some of that content. They all need content, video, audio, podcasters need your content. It's just a matter of reaching out. So if that's the case, what should you reach out with? Well, I'm going to show you something that I reached out with. It's a little case study that you might find interesting. So I gave a talk a couple of years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, and it was here in New York, and it was basically what was called the Media Lab. It was people like you who came there and wanted to learn about media and how to really take it to the next level. So I was thinking, gee, I was giving this exact talk, and I said, wouldn't it be cool if I showed everybody how to write a press email and then said I sent it out a few days ago and then had a reporter in the room. So this is the exact email sent out. Watch closely so you can see and you can model it in some way. So the subject line, the next Dr. Phil, and actually really the hook, how we're going to hook the media and reel them in, was actually longer than that, but only so much fits in the subject line. So down below you see who will become the next Dr. Phil or Judge Judy. So that meant who will become the next big thing. And then it says in parentheses, NSA story pitch. So that was actually the National Speakers Association, but I knew a reporter would say, the NSA, the people who listen in, not the people who talk? Wait a second, let me open this email. So here's the first big lesson. It's all about the subject line and getting them to open. I use this technique for my business emails, and I certainly do for media emails when I send it out for myself or when we send it out for our media ambassadors. So the next Dr. Phil, that got a bunch of people to open it up, and then it can't say, hi, reporters, or just, hey, here's a press release. I am in town, and I have ideas that you will want to know. I can't tell you in this email, but you should book me, even though you have no idea what the ideas are. That's what most press releases look and sound like. If it sounded ridiculous, yes, it is ridiculous. So this is what works. Hi, first name. Wanted to see if you want to do a story on this. And then basically below, you see there a headline. And if I continue to scroll down, bullet points. So that was bullet points on who was going to be there and what the big, thing was, whoever was happening, and a couple of people that they may want to interview. One was, of course, me. And I mentioned Steve Spangler, who is kind of like a Bill Nye the Science Guy, and a guy who's a #1 New York Times bestselling author. And I sent it out to my smallest list of 150 news folks, just in New York. I actually usually send out to 6,000. So what happened? One reporter did show up, tiny little publication called the New York Times. So that was a pretty cool outcome, right? And actually, New York Times right over my shoulder over there, but I think I have a picture. There it is. So now forever, I get to use that picture. It was all about the email. I wrote one email. I wrote one email and sent it out. So you're almost silly if you don't do this. Forever you can say, as featured in the New York Times or ABC or NBC or you name whatever it is, whatever outlet. And they came and they interviewed me. And they interviewed 9 of my speaker friends, and we all got into the article. So it was exactly what I wanted, which was social proof, something I can use and brag about and really hang my hat on. So when I go and I speak at conferences, people can say, I guess he's the real deal, because he talks about media and speaking and publicity, and I guess he does it. So let me jump into what stories they want. So I gave you a little bit, and I'm going to go deeper into the template of what you should be sending out. But that was basically the template, which is a strong headline in the subject lines. We want them to open up the email, and an email that must say hi first name. And you saw in there was a code, so I'll talk about that as we get closer to the template. And then afterwards, we need to see in there something like, is this a story for you? We need a yes or no question, because it's only asking for a yes or no answer. If you're asking 10 questions, they're just, they don't have time. Nobody has time for anything nowadays. And then bullet points of what you would say after that headline. All right, so what stories do they want? We need to know what they want so we can give it to them. So what do they want? They want something that matches their audience. So the New York audience, I was just sending it to New York for then. I tried to pick something that was interesting, that was news you can use, right? What are all these, who wants to be the next big star, and how can your audience, your readers in that case, be the next big star? So something topical or seasonal or event or time-driven. If I had pitched something related to summer or the holidays or you name it, it would fall into that category. These are the categories of what they look for. If the president did something and I felt like commenting on it, I've kind of left that alone. That would help me get in the press. But I'm going to give you an example of another politician that I commented on and how it went kind of viral and how you can do it. So news you can use. So some of you are, I saw some of the email addresses, are estate planning attorneys who Wendy opened me up to a few years ago, and I spoke at one of the conferences. And if you're an estate planning attorney, I'm going to steal Wendy's hook from when she did some work with me on this, which was, you might be disinheriting your children without even knowing it. An estate planning attorney says, da, 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 da. Right? Would you stop in your tracks if you had no idea what that was about? I have kids. That's upsetting, and I haven't even read the article yet. I know what she says because she told me, and we made a little video out of it. So that's news you can use. Something surprising. It also falls in that category, something surprising. Local wants something local. So if you're pitching, you say, listen, it would be a total home run if I were just in my local city or state newspaper. That would be great. Great, good news. They want you to, and they want to be able to talk up local people. We just had one of our doctors in Atlanta's NBC, which was fantastic because that's what he wanted more than anything. It was all fun. And here's the flip side of that. We also had somebody who lives at one of our media ambassadors who's in Idaho, and she was also on the Atlanta NBC channel. But on her website, who even knows where it's from? It doesn't matter. We're watching. We're excited about it. And the last thing I have on there, stories where the journalism or the work is done for them. As I reach over here for a little refreshment, the more we do the work for them, the happier they're going to be, the more they're going to want to bring us back. In fact, I had an attorney, a different attorney in Atlanta, who said, listen, actually he is an estate planning attorney, but he also does real estate law. And he said, I have a lot on my website on the estate planning side, but I really want the real estate side to, come up there more. And we got him a story where it was focused on something related to estate planning. And actually, even before that, I want to just trace the path. He had to comment about one of the Supreme Court picks that were coming up, and they were all different people. And the media latched on, they interviewed him about that. And then when they were done and he did a good job, he said, hey, by the way, these are the two areas where I help people. So he ended up getting a story where they said, oh, we like a story about, I think it might have been about Prince, when Prince didn't have a will. And then they called him on a squatters' rights story because they remembered that that's what he did. That's how that works. That's how you get into the rotation. So here's a flip side. We also need to talk about what they don't want. When a press release is sent, it usually comes off as too self-serving. It doesn't have any of the what's in it for them or their audience. We want their audience to learn something that doesn't match their outlet. So if they, if they don't talk about your topic, if you sent a pitch on gardening and they say, we never do gardening, but we do help people who have needs, which is usually where you come in. A story with someone seems flaky. If you don't proofread, show your email to somebody else. And if you say, I'm the best at this, and, and then there are misspellings and you show it to someone, not good. Don't do that. A story that's too difficult, requires too much work. This is the part where you're helping them. If they say, can you get me pictures of that? Can you show me that? You give me examples of where that once happened. The more you do the work for them, the happier they're going to be. I just did an audio interview a week ago with a CNN producer to hear what she likes. And she said, the more they do the work for us, the more they become our go-to person. It's as simple as that. And I was a producer, and I know it's the case because they're busy. And they won't do a story if they haven't read your email giving you a yes or no. And that's why we need the subject line to get them to open it, and we need them to come back with a yes or a no. So ultimately, be relevant, be easy to work with, return their calls. This you'd think I wouldn't have to say. Return their calls and emails. When I was a producer, people didn't always do that. And even use sound bites in your pitches, which brings us to our pitches. Let's talk about that. So we're talking about hooks. I want to extend the fishing metaphor. We're fishing for ideas. That's right. And we're going to put the hook on there. We need some good bait. And we need at least a case of beer. All right, no, maybe not that last part, but the beginning part, we need the hook. And anyway, the hook is the headline or the question that makes them want to do the story. That's it. That's what that is. And here's what I like to do. I like to go to the Google News to look and see what kind of headlines are on there that give me some ideas. So, common heartburn medications. What's common in my field? This is how we think of it for you. Common in my field. Let's see, Egypt is in the news. Let's see, something about Greek leader, no. Let's look on the right here. 3 tips for building courage and resilience from a Navy SEAL. 3 tips. What would be my 3 tips? And by the way, my Jess feeling on that is tips are throwaways and strategies are something valuable that people want to pay attention to. So let's type in estate planning and see, just to use that one, since I think that would be an interesting one. I brought it up just earlier. So what would come up? What comes up? Steer clear of the 8 biggest estate plan mistakes. For those of you who are not estate planners, by the way, this is where you take your pen out. This is very important. You're going to write down the hooks that you can use. I want you to leave this webinar with stuff done. So if you're not an estate planning attorney and you want to insert the word real estate, or you want to insert any other word in there, steer clear of the 8 biggest blank mistakes, business legal mistakes, whatever it is, put it in there. Apparently in October, it's estate planning week. That would be worth knowing. And maybe there's some other week that you want to pay attention to. I think we just passed Small Business Week. So if you help small businesses and you do some legal work for them, that would have been something to latch onto. Do a Google search and find out what week something is happening. Let's scroll down further. Avoid the headaches of estate planning. Now, again, I'm stealing actual headlines that were used, like the top one was CNBC, to come up with my pitch headline. They will come up with whatever their own headline is when they do the story, but we can take from this. If you want to tweak it, tweak it. We're really using it for ideas. But every once in a while, somebody says, is it okay if I say steer clear of the 8 biggest estate planning mistakes? Actually, I only have 5. Great. Do it with 5. Don't worry about it. CNBC is not going to do it anyway, and somebody else might do it, and maybe you do pick a different number. You want to make it just a little bit different. Women cautioned on estate planning. Okay, blank group. Write this down. Blank group cautioned on blank. What would you be cautioning people on to be able to help them better? This is what we need to write down. Why this estate planning tool beats just having a will. Oh, is there some tool that maybe you help people with? That's Time Magazine that went and put that out there. I'm pretty sure Time is another one of those outlets that's only online right now. Here's a secret. I showed you the image of one of our media ambassadors who's in U.S. News and World Report. They're only online now. We said, when is the next issue coming out? We'll go grab it, or she can go grab it and put it on her wall like I did, which is what you should do too. It's exciting. Actually, I just want to show you. I have Fortune, Entrepreneur, and Inc. magazine. Guess what? All 3 of them were only online. Does anybody care? Does anybody know? Does it make any difference? No. And it looks amazing on my wall. I feel good every time I see it. And that's how we get our information anyway. So it's very important. Let's keep this going. We're coming up with, by the way, if you like what I've been saying so far, type in the chat and say, yes, this is great. And if it's just okay, you can write, it's okay. Why would I ask for people to only say that? So put in the chat, it's great, or it's okay, or whatever you have over there. Let's see. So down, we also have avoid common mistakes in elder. Thank you very much, by the way. I got, and yes, this is great in the chat. So good. I'm doing this for you guys. I want you to be able to get the press you deserve. Let the world know about your stories. Use this in your marketing, by the way. You're going to create a story and you're going to send it out so that if you're emailing and say, hey, I was in this newspaper, magazine, TV show, but here's how it's valuable to you, people may just read your email. Avoid common mistakes in blank. What's your blank? It doesn't have to be estate planning or elder estate planning. All right, here's a few last ones. Estate planning, I just did this by using a Google News search, which is you go to news.google.com, you type in your keywords. That's it. Estate planning is, or let's say, estate planning for all, I just have to read and not talk as fast, not just for the wealthy. Okay, fine. And let's say you say, but no, I like working with the wealthy. They're my right fit prospect. Then we're going to flip that. We're going to say, estate planning is just a little bit different for the wealthy. Or why estate planning for the wealthy is usually done wrong. I did this webinar not too long ago and somebody pointed out, Jess, you're playing into the negative or the pain. There are 2 ways that we get people to act as human beings, and the way we act as human beings, to either avoid pain or seek pleasure. I want you to put in the chat, what do you think is the bigger one? Avoid pain or seek pleasure? Put it in there. This is the bigger motivator. I'll ask it again. And you're going to put it in the chat. What do you think the bigger motivator is? Seeking pleasure or avoiding pain? This is to get us to act. All right, we're going to let people type in there. So let's see. You guys are right. I have avoid pain, pain. You're right. We need to, people won't take action. They won't work with you unless there's some pain involved. I know I will never pull off out of my car and get gas earlier until it hits closer to the E. I won't at halfway say, well, I'll just top it off. No, I'm going to wait until there's going to be some pain of me stuck on the side of the road to say, I better do that. So we want to avoid pain. I'm going to give you another quick little example. A couple of years ago, I had wisdom tooth that was kind of coming through. And I could kind of feel it. It felt a little funky. And my dentist said, yeah, you should just have that taken out. And I said, well, it doesn't hurt, but it, just feels weird the way it like half came through. And he said, well, it doesn't hurt today, but you should take it out. So I did nothing. What happened? There was pain. This was like a year later. There was pain, and bam, I went down and I made sure that happened. So we really want to promote stories, especially for you. You want people to take action that focus on the pain. Last couple of things here. Estate planning 101, pick your heirs, right? What is that about? Estate planning 101, how to divide your money. You could just pitch these. These are all really great. I'm going to pick one that would be good for me, but how we apply it to you. So one of the arenas I play on is speaking, public speaking. So let's say I type that in. All right, 10 public speaking mistakes successful people don't make. Here's one for you. Let's make it 5. 10 is a lot. 5 blank mistakes that even successful people make. Write that down. 5 blank mistakes. Blank is where you put in what you do. All right. I'm just showing we can search for almost anything and come up with great ideas. All right. Let's see. I'll skip down to nail your next public speaking gig with these 3 tips. All right. Let's say, by the way, any of you can put in the chat if you think of one that's really great. Nail your next blank with these 3 tips. How about 3 strategies for, it depends. Somebody type in the chat if you're a different type of lawyer so I can use that as the example. I just want to make sure that I speak to it properly. Let's see over here. How to speak in public like a pro, even if it's your first time, I think it was. So 5 things you don't know about blank that can hurt you. So if it were estate planning, what don't we know? What is going to hurt me and my family? Let's see here. What entrepreneurs can learn about. Great, fill in the blank. We saw one before where it said what women can do. So we can exchange that with baby boomers, with aging Americans, or the aging. I said aging Americans. I actually did some work for AARP, and they said, they do not say seniors, say aging Americans. Okay, that's what they're using right now. You could say millennials. Just go with whatever you think works. I'll just throw you last couple of ones on here, and let's see what is being written in the chat. Wendy says, and Wendy, let me know the other types of lawyers that we have on here today. Social Security, disability, liquor license. Okay, these are types of ways that you guys are helping people. So if we're talking about disability, 5, how about this? 5 ways to plan for disability today so you don't get, I don't want to say screwed. I want to say so you don't lose out tomorrow. Okay? You can fill in the words. That would be a great disability one. Let's see here. Business, just helping people with their businesses. So let's take the one on the top. 3 ways to enhance your, I just typed in leadership just to see what can we come up with. 3 ways to enhance your leadership potential. So how about 3 legal loopholes that can help your business survive. Whoa, survival. Survival plays into the pain, and there's a whole thing about the reptilian brain. If you guys know about some of that stuff, it's really, really good, but it makes it a great hook. This is what they'll choose and they'll run with. Liquor license, I guess. Oh, people getting their liquor license. So maybe it's in a trade publication, which is great. Those are the types of people who should work with you. And maybe you say the 5 biggest mistakes, or say liquor license mistakes, : I want to make it top heavy. as far as what will get their eyes to lock in on what the story is. So liquor license mistakes, how not to fail at getting your license, something to that effect. So it's good stuff. So ultimately it comes down to this. Give them a list, the 5 ways you can. This is how you can create your hook. Hit main points. This mistake could cost you $100 grand. I actually had a lawyer who said, this mistake can cost you $2 million easily. And then he gave stories of people who made a mistake, who did the wrong thing. And they did not. Well, he had one client who basically, in his opinion, $2 million had gone through their hands. Terrible. Hit pain points. A hook could be, this mistake could cost you $100,000, $2 million, whatever it is. Break myths. Is there a myth around what you see people doing and how you help people? Be a myth breaker. Say something surprising that we haven't heard before. Like when Wendy said you might accidentally disinherit your children. What? I want to know about that. And take a point of view. What is the point of view? What are they, as the guest who's coming here, is it that people make this mistake and it needs to be stopped, you can do better? Or is it, well, is it wishy-washy? You know, sometimes people make the mistake. Most people are okay. I mean, this is, no, you need to have a point of view. So as we continue on with PR secret weapons for attorneys, media for attorneys, I call it PR secret weapons because I'm giving you the secret weapons. I want to give you a little case study here and show you something. Those legal briefs I get to bring out. I use that anytime I talk about this. You may remember a New York Congressman, Anthony Weiner. Yes, my home state. We're so proud. Anyway, he decided a few years ago, you may remember when he was in the news, to become a photographer. That's right. He decided to go into photography. And some friends said to me, hey, Jess, are you going to go out and talk about him in the media so I could get my media attention? And I said, I don't know if I want to be attached to this guy. And then I thought more about it and thought, you know what, well, career opportunity, let's do this. So here's what happened. I wrote an email using the template I talked about. So subject line, Wiener Fallout, which I promise you was an unintended pun. I've said this in front of live audiences, and I didn't realize it until they laughed. It was the fallout. It had just happened. Anyway, you get the idea. Wiener Fallout, and actually, here's a little secret. See that little RE? It means in reference to. It doesn't necessarily mean we've been sending emails back and forth. I'm sneaky sometimes, and I put it in there. And I get more email opens. It works. Only 2 times in the hundreds of thousands of emails that I've sent out over the last 10 years since I set the Guinness record, has anybody, 2 times did anybody ever say anything like, oh, that was a little sneaky that you put that in there. And one of the people who actually said that said, little bit, but anyway, we'll book you. When can we chat? Let's chat about what you're going to say. They didn't care. So here's what we know in the subject line. We know what the story is. We know that somebody is available, and we know who they are. We know 3 pieces of key information instead of press release for a story. Don't do that. We want to have 3 key pieces or any key pieces of information. So here's all I did. Hi, Mike. Hi, first name. I used one of those mass email programs, kind of like a Constant Contact. I use a different one, but you can use whatever you like. And it just says, hey, if you're following this story, you need a media consultant to provide quotes. Here are some things I would say. And it's just bullet points on what I would say in an interview. And this is the one that went viral, and I'll tell you why. So this is it. I'm going to actually yell it out. It was actually soundbite techniques that I teach. I can't go as deep into it today, but I'm going to just yell out what it is. Can he repair his image? It's a rhetorical question. Media loves rhetorical questions. It's one of the techniques for making a soundbite. He can never, an absolute, truly get past the story. I said they like people who speak in absolutes and own their opinion. He has, now they don't all have to be in the same answer, but I made them the same answer. He's mortally wounded, bold action words, his political career, but It doesn't mean he can't start a reality show, pop culture reference. They like pop culture references. There are lots of people with reality shows. Or host a program on CNN, which was a combination pop culture and a little combative against Elliot Spitzer, who had a show at the time. And he had a sex scandal, and then they gave him a show. Flash forward to now if you have a sex scandal, they take your show away. So things corrected themselves as far as that goes. So it was all about writing a great headline and putting in the subject and then putting in quotes. The end. What happened? What happened, Jess? Well, the Washington Post said, let's do it. Washington Times, Philadelphia Inquirer, which I didn't know, syndicates to 14 more newspapers, 15 more newspapers. And it went to Forbes.com and Vancouver Sun and Financial Times and The Atlantic and into Dallas. It went all over the place. So what do I do with that? That's social proof I put all over my website. I sent out emails talking about don't end up getting caught like Anthony Weiner. And I was able to promote the training side of my business. And you need to use press in that way. And you got to keep your antenna up. So as far as my antenna being up, I want to listen, what do they say about me? So Washington Post said, Jess is a media training expert. That's the training side of what I do. Great. It appears on the back of my book now, my most recent book. Fantastic. On a day like today where I'm talking about publicity, the Washington Times said that Jess is a public relations maven, because that's the exact phrase they said, the public relations mavens weigh in, Jess Todtfeld says. You want to listen to what they say so you can put it all over your website, not just on a press page. Wouldn't it be amazing if it said, if you were able to say, insert the name of your city or you know, your favorite newspaper. The Washington Post says that Elizabeth Smith is a legal eagle and expert. That would be fantastic, right? Elizabeth, you can put it in the chat. Of course it would be. All right. I want to show you something about the actual pitch. All right. A lot of times it's like throwing spaghetti at the ceiling, and it shouldn't be. That's not a good way to do a pitch. It's fun, but it's the spaghetti throwing at the ceiling, but it's not the right way to do a pitch. So if this looks fuzzy and it looks like it's hard to see, it's on purpose. Press releases don't work. They're dead in the age of the internet. All right. People don't have time to read and read and read. It doesn't work. Don't bother. Unless you're talking about search engine optimization, that's something different. So these are some actual pitches that came to me when I was a producer. Subject line. I told you the importance of the subject line. This doesn't let me know it's a pitch. It just says, is the U.S. headed for similar merger with Canada and Mexico? What? Did we merge? Wait, what? Similar to what? Huh? And I open it up, and the first eyeful is taken with, for immediate release. Okay, for immediate release. Yes, I know you released it to me. You sent it to me. Contact information. I don't care about the contact information until I care about what this story is, and I can't even make heads or tails of it. Then again, is the U.S. headed for similar merger with Canada and Mexico? What? The outcome of the last round of EU negotiation. Oh, okay. This is when the EU is coming together. And then I see an ISBN number. They copy and pasted something with some book. Is there a person available? I don't think so. I'm already too confused. Delete if I were a producer. I want you to see what their emails look like. They're probably using Outlook, and it's all just coming in fast and furious. So you've had it where your email just goes down. You can't really tell. One question not answered by the CO2. Then they open that up. And again, we see for immediate release, we see contact information. We see blocks and blocks of text. What is the story exactly? Is the story, that they hate global warming? Is that what it is? Is it off of something that was just talked about that week? The person is a founder of some group. It's confusing. And let's see here. Subject line, the AMA. I'm already stuck. Is it the American Medical Association? Is it the American Management Association, the American Marketing Association. There are a lot of AMAs. But I don't know. Policymaking meeting begins the first day of voting. Voting? Huh? And we open it up and you see they just copied and pasted a press release. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. What would you do with it if you were the TV producer receiving that? You know, they're basically saying, this is all about what is happening. We don't know what the angle or the story is. You go figure that out. I'm not going to figure it out. Why should I figure it out? You figure it out. That would be terrible if they said that, but that's what they're implying. All right. This is a book press release, a tale of two studies. The two studies released, blah, 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 and it goes on and on. Confusing. So I'm going to show you some that work. Now we're getting closer to ones that worked. This was it said cheerleader crash. Race car drivers teach teens and parents street safety. And it would have been better if I look at our email if it said hi first name, but they didn't do that. But they did mention that race car drivers are out doing interviews, and I said, hey, it's a NASCAR driver. Do you think we can have one in front of our studio? And that's what they did. Yay, we did it. It worked. Next one was, these are now pitches that work. RE in reference to, so I opened it up, or we've been talking for Jess. They put my name in the subject line. Now I'm looking. I worked on TV. We won the things that were visual. So it says visual unique hit. Taser launches consumer handheld device. Whoa. How are you going to make it visual? So I called the guy up and I said, can you tase somebody? And he said, hold on 1 second. And then he got back on the phone and said, my business partner is willing to be tased. And we tased him. We tased this poor guy. And he was laying on the floor, just flailing around. And it was very funny for everyone who was not him. But they were able to get through because of this email. All right. This one here, this one I sent out for a friend who's a memory expert. Thought this memory expert would be good radio. So also playing up the whole idea of that's a phrase radio people use, which is, you know, hey, I want to get some good radio. Mark, I think this guy would be great for you. He's a world record setting expert. He could give your listeners tips on how to remember where you put your keys, or memory tips can help you and keep your job in an up or down economy. Hey, he's going to be great, and he knows how to deliver big ratings. Any interest? That's a yes or no question. So I'm introducing you now to a thing I call above the line, below the line, which is above the line is where you just have like a short email. So the whole email looks short. Below the line is where you put all that extra information, including bullet points. This got him 8 radio stations. This is one that I sent out when Tiger Woods was out and about, when his wife was chasing him with the golf club. Subject line RE in reference to available for Tiger Woods story, point of view below. That whole thing just broke. So it said, hi first name, hi Chuck. Do you need someone to talk about Tiger Woods today or tomorrow? That's it. One sentence, yes or no. Below the line, we see that it's the Tiger Woods story, and here are things that Jess can say and a link to my bio. I ended up getting 10 interviews, including the Associated Press TV, and that went all over the country. And some of them were on YouTube. Not all of them I could go to. So I just want to jump forward and show you the template here. There we go. That's the template. So the template is this. You can take a picture of it. Yeah, definitely give me questions in the chat if you have questions. If I can open it up over here. Here we go. So it's very important. Let's see the question. Can you talk about the timing of the news? Thank you. Hitting and you pulling together a pitch and disseminating it. Yeah, so if it's tied in, great question. If it's tied in with the news, you want to get something out. So you actually want to have your email, your press emails. This is something I could help you with. Your press emails ready to go in one of those mass email programs, so that you come over here to the template and you fill it out. So you think, okay, what's the angle? 5 reasons why, or fallout from Anthony Weiner. You put in whatever you think the headline is. Hi, first name, with the story below work for you. It's already done. Your name, or you can have an assistant. It doesn't really matter. If they want the story, they're going to go with it. A headline, 5 reasons why, or the biggest mistake people make because of. You put that in there. Available for interviews. Just the fact that it says that, now we know on the receiving end, oh, you mean someone's actually available. It's not a random press release. Fantastic. And then it's your name and a link. And what you would say, I'm going to scroll down a little further, which is that's where you can put the long paragraphs of other information that you might have. You don't have to have long paragraphs, but if you had other information. And then the contact information, that's where it should go at the bottom. That's where it goes when we want to figure out who you are. So you want to follow the template. So you have a few choices here when it comes to what to do now after today. Those are the main pieces I wanted to share with you during this webinar. You have do it yourself and you've done for you. All right. This is where I tell you about things that Jess does so that you can decide, or actually my real wish is go out and do it. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, Jess just gave us the template. As I click back over here, this is the exact template. It works. But I need media contacts. What do I do? Well, then you need to go to, and I'm going to show you some more cool stories of ways that we've helped people. You actually need to go to prsecretweapons.com. And actually, I should just say, I'm going to do a 50% special for PR Secret Weapons for anybody who signs up today. So if you go to that website and you go and you watch or look at the page that's over there, you're going to see that you can get 6,000. We're doing a kind of a flash, not really sale, but we're giving, instead of 3,000 media contacts nationwide, 6,000. And anybody who signs up from today's webinar and does it today, I'm going to give you a special list just on legal media. That means people all around the country who cover legal stories. That would be amazing to you. I need to put that together. I'm a special reseller of lists, but you get the list and you also get a walkthrough of the 5 steps. That's one of the things I promised I would talk to you about today. And by the way, prsecretweapons.com is the site to go to for that. So you go there and there's 5 steps. The first step, put the list in the system. That's pretty easy. It only needs to be done once, and once it's up into a constant contact or one of the other ones that I recommend and don't have any ownership over, you've got that in there that's done. Next is write your email. Write out that email, okay? And next would be click send. Click send on the email. This is craziness, being able to go through this. And another one is follow up. It's one of the other steps. And I know I had a 5th step in there. So I'm thinking here, let's see, insert the contacts. But there's a 5th one. You'll have to check over there. But it's basically, those are the steps, which is input it, write the email. Okay? Click send. It's craziness that I have to say that. And then follow up. And then actually, I think what I have in there, I think the 5th one is resend. So I have a resend technique, which I use for one of those other programs, which is one of those other outreaches that I did, where I ended up getting into almost 50 newspapers because I sent it again. I'm going to tell you the secret right now, which is pushing down the previous email and just saying, wasn't sure if you saw this the other day, and sending it out again. That is the 5th step, actually. And you'll see some of that on that page over there. But to be able to get the 50% off, you have to reach out to us today. You either hit reply on an email that Wendy sent out, because I know that that's easy, or in the lower right-hand corner on your screen, you see Jess at successinmedia.com. And instead of $997, we'll do it for $497. Isn't that about 50%? $497, $98? I don't know, $497. And then you can do that. So you have 2 choices. That's where you own the list and you think of an idea and you send it out. And by the way, I should tell you this. A list costs normally, you have to get a subscription. That's $3,000 to $5,000. So it's $3,000 to $5,000 to get a list, but you can own the list. And actually, I didn't even get into it. with the PR Secret Weapons Kit, you actually get all this other cool stuff. And I just recorded that audio with a CNN producer. I've interviewed other people who are out there. I give media training techniques. I give you a lot on there. And I see people are already going over to that website and checking out what's over there. So I decided today I was going to do 50% off. So I never set up a page because I was thinking, you know, it'd be really cool in the moment is if I did that. But again, you have to do it today. You're welcome to do it tomorrow and pay full price. Okay, so that's the PR Secret Weapons. Now, some of you may say, I don't want to do it myself, Jess. And you keep bringing up Media Ambassadors, which is this. We have this other site, Media Ambassadors, where we pitch people. And for that, I will chat with you, but I'm going to tell you we do something really cool. We have a guaranteed process to get you on websites for ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS. I kind of buried the lead today. Guaranteed. So Dr. Andrea Auerbach, she was just in 500 outlets that you see some of them on the screen, some of the biggest ones that are on the screen right now. This is the exact graphic she now has for social media that she can put on her website, that she can put in emails, and she can send all over the place. And I'm in New York. One of the ABC local stations that ran the story on her was WABC. And that's where she's located too. So it's very cool. So this is something that we do for Media Ambassadors. And here's something I kind of waited until 3 minutes to the end, which is we have a way to deliver publicity for 90% less. Actually, it's probably even more than that because it's for the whole year. So instead of an average publicity plan, if you work with a publicist, is $3,000 to $6,000 per month for 3 months to 6 months. And why do they make you do a certain number of months? Because, you know, it might not work out this month. They may send something out and the news people are distracted. And there's a real opportunity here. So they're waiting and waiting, and it may not even happen with those people in 3 months. So you might have spent 6, 12, 18 grand. We have it, and you may spend more than that if you spend it 36 grand if you spend it for 6 months and they got you to buy that package. I know lots of people have done that. They got nothing. We can guarantee the way we do it because we do a combination of strategies to get people out there. And this was one of our ambassadors, NBC. She's located in the New York area. We have people actually all over the country for our media ambassadors, but she did it via Skype to the Atlanta area. Actually, this particular station syndicates to 5 different cities, but they're mainly in Atlanta. We have another one of our ambassadors who was on his local ABC station. That was cool. Someone was on syndicated TV called Morning Dose. That's in 6 or 8 cities all across the country. I mentioned earlier Chicago Tribune and Reader's Digest and US News and local radio, Fast Company. This is what we're doing for people with the media ambassadors and getting them out there. And when we show you afterwards, how do you go from a quote that you get in an article and to be able to create an image like this? Very easy to either do it or have it done. And that's what you're sharing, you're putting all over your website. So it's really very cool. And there was one from today, actually. So this NBC station just went with one of our other experts who talks about brain science. He talked about brain burnout, and they wanted to do a story on kids. So they interviewed her via Skype from her home. How great is that? That's Carol Barks. And it turned out, I went to the website this morning to say, well, I should get a screenshot of that. And there were 2 stories. They did 2. I had no idea. They broke it in half and they ran it 2 times on the local news there. And now she can use it on her website. So you have a few things you can do. If you want to reach out to me, reach out to Jess at successinmedia.com. And you have to do it today if you want one of the special offers, or you just want to find out about media ambassadors. And what we'll do is we'll chat. We'll set up a chat. And I can either help you with the done for you. You want to buy a media list and just have it and know the steps that go along and get it done, then you're thinking PR Secret Weapons. And if you want it done for you, you're thinking media ambassadors. Those are 2 options. But the very least, what I showed you today was I showed you how you can basically take the template and send it out. Of course, you need to go online and figure out where should I send it, but you can send it out and it does work. And I want all of you to get press. So that is the end of our hour. Before I jump off here, I want to make sure, let's see that I'm still on. Okay, I'm still on. I went out of full screen. Wendy, any last thoughts with our bonus time? But we don't, I always like to end on time because I said that I would to you. I didn't tell anybody else. But are there any questions or thoughts about what we've talked about?
Jess, this has been a great hour. Really fantastic. Thanks for putting your contact information up there. Thanks for sharing all this information today to really get the thoughts percolating. And now, as with anything that you learn, don't just put it on a shelf. Move forward with some action step. Jot your action steps down now. Put them on your calendar. My clients who are on the call will know that I tell them this. Actually calendar it out to make this happen so that you can get the benefit and serve more people.
Yes.
So thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic day. Jess, thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Good luck. Go out and get some press.
Love it. Thank you. Have a good one.